And we will get ourselves nice and comfortable. So just bring yourself to a nice, comfortable position, hopefully with a nice upright spine. And prop yourself, make sure you're nice and warm. And I've just popped a blanket over me actually because I want the door open. Let's just take a moment to lower our gaze or close our eyes here. And just come into the present moment. So just noticing how we feel today. Maybe you've been dashing around already this morning. Or maybe you feel like you've only just got going. But either way, let's just take this time now to notice how we really are. Letting the brow be soft and the eyelids heavy. Let gravity take the shoulders down. Notice if you're carrying any tension in your neck. And see if you can just breathe into any tight spots as you encounter them. Moving down the body, sitting squarely and heavily on the surface that's supporting us. Noticing how our legs feel, our ankles and our feet. And then coming all the way back up the body. Noticing the movement of the ribs, noticing the movement of the whole body with every breath. And scanning down the arms until we reach the fingertips. So let your fingers be soft and gently curled in towards the palm, or maybe you have your palms on your legs, just bringing a softness. And then bringing to mind the visualization of the whole body as you sit here. Bringing the whole body into your awareness. Considering how it feels as we sit here quietly. Perhaps you're aware of the flow of energy. In yoga we call this the prana. Maybe you can feel tingling in your fingers, toes, or elsewhere in your body. Or maybe you don't register anything, and that's fine too. Just noticing what there is and how we feel. And then slowly and mindfully preparing to open our eyes and bring ourselves back to conscious awareness here where we're sitting right now. So hopefully we've started to slow everything down now, preparing the body and mind to unite together for this short time, which always has a steadying and calming effect, I think, once you can just bring the attention inward and everything starts to slow then. So the next thing we're going to do, it often feels like we're revisiting old ground here, but I don't think there's any problem with that. We're going to sit with sounds and thoughts and feelings. So just taking a wriggle here, taking any movement that might feel nice, maybe just rolling your shoulders forward and back, getting a sense that you're releasing any tension, maybe taking the neck from one side to the other. And then coming to stillness once more. And let's let the eyes gently close again or lower the gaze. Noticing where you've chosen to put your hands. There's no right or wrong. Just noticing where you choose to sit in comfort and how you choose to sit in comfort. And let's just be the observer of our thoughts for a moment. Is your mind racing with a to-do list? What's going to happen next? What's already happened today? What happened over the weekend? Let's just observe those thoughts. And without trying to clear our minds completely, which just isn't possible most of the time, let's see if we can just gently nudge those thoughts to the side for now and bring our thoughts to the here and now. So what's happening right here and now? Because this is where we live, here and now. Again, just observing any feelings that might be present today. Maybe you're aware of a particular emotional state. Maybe you're not. Perhaps you haven't yet got to where you're actually thinking about how you feel today. But just being aware. And if any of those thoughts or emotions feel slightly negative, maybe turn the spotlight full on them. Sometimes if we try to shove things out of the way, they whisper all day long, and sometimes it just helps to bring them into center stage, if you like, and just think, right, what can I do about this here and now? Or actually later, I'm going to sit down and properly address this. But just sending some acknowledgement of awareness of anything that doesn't sit comfortably right now. With the acknowledgement that it has been heard and it will be addressed. It's a bit like writing down concerns or worries or things that you know you're going to have to address the following day. A bit like writing them down before bedtime. It kind of helps literally get them off your mind. So we're kind of doing the same thing here. We're acknowledging things that might need to be done. And we're acknowledging that this is not the time or the place, but that time and place will come. Maybe, hopefully, you're sitting with very positive emotions today. Perhaps you've had a wonderful weekend. Perhaps you've got up and you feel well this morning. And again, it's about acknowledging those feelings too. All our feelings and emotional states are valid and deserve to be recognized. And in just the same way that we need to recognize negative emotions, to validate positive ones is a wonderful thing to do. Bringing those emotions and feelings into center stage and into the spotlight, we can cultivate our awareness and attitude of gratitude, which we can take into the rest of our day. So just sitting with the feelings that you have present. And perhaps noticing and appreciating the daisy chain of associations that come, whichever way you take your attention, how one thing leads on to another. Which is why it's important to always try and gently bring the mind back to the here and now and to the positive things you're doing for your own well-being, and letting that experience help us get used to what happens with the mind's fluctuations. And so when difficult or tense emotions arise, we have a better sense of how to deal with these. Either allowing these things center stage or just acknowledging that there is validity, excuse me, and that these emotions will be addressed at a more appropriate time. So let's bring our attention now to awareness of the breath in the body, because it's always so calming. And see if you can to let your belly be loose, not holding any tension, and really breathing into the belly region here. Observing the rise and the fall. If your mind does start to wander off and start making those daisy chain associations, just gently bring it back to the breath, the quality of the breath, and how your body's being moved by the breath. So just settling into the rise and fall, the ebb and the flow of the breath. And bringing your awareness to the diaphragm, and the diaphragm moving up and down to accommodate the lungs being filled with air with every breath. So starting to visualize the mechanics of breathing, all the different parts playing their part. And then moving the awareness into the ribs and the side body. Settling your attention on the movement of the ribs. Maybe if you're leaning against something, you can be aware of the movement in the back body of the ribs. Try and visualize the expansion and the contraction of every muscle in between the ribs, the intercostal muscles, as they stretch and then release. And then bringing your awareness, moving it up the body a little higher now, to the sensations of the breath in the actual chest, the upper chest. So nearer the collarbones, very tops of the lungs that we don't often bring our awareness to. But start to take slightly longer breaths here and just see if you can bring a visualization, if nothing else, about the breath reaching the very tops of the lungs, nestled beneath the protective basket of the rib cage and the collarbones. All this marvelous machinery working away without our conscious intervention, although at the moment we're bringing conscious thought to what's going on. So just sitting with the rise and fall of the upper body. And maybe now you can tune in your awareness to your heartbeat. Maybe you're not really aware of it at all. It's probably slowed considerably. But just bringing your attention to this, the relationship between the breath and the heart. The heart delivering all the oxygen-rich blood around the system to energize, nourish and heal your body. So using your imagination, if you're not actually aware of any physical sensations going on, just becoming aware and then shifting the awareness once more back to the very subtle movements of the body as you're breathing. And preparing to leave our visualization, our experience, and our sensations that are happening in the subtle body. Bring our awareness back to our bodies and where they're sitting in the room. Being aware of sensations externally rather than internally. So perhaps being aware of warmth on your skin, or maybe cool on your skin, coolness. The temperature that surrounds you, perhaps the temperature of where you're sat, or if you're covered by your clothes or perhaps a blanket. And then being aware of any sounds that are going on close by. Perhaps you're aware of sounds in the room or sounds just outside the room. And then expanding your awareness to sounds that are going on outside your home. Maybe you can't hear any, maybe you can hear a few things happening. So not straining to hear any sounds, but just being aware. And then slowly bringing your awareness back to where you are right now and gently opening your eyes. Oh, that was like a mini biology lesson there, wasn't it? We started to get into I thought, oh dear, where am I going with this? Often I always have a rough plan of where we're going, and then sometimes my visual storytelling takes over. Thinking, well, we're not really doing anatomy and physiology this morning, but I hope it helped with your awareness. Sometimes it just helps us drifting off if we're suddenly presented with a stark image or visualization of the heart beating and what it's actually doing. So I hope that helped you. That's what was happening with me. I was stopping myself going off on an even more acute tangent. So I'm glad you two know me well. And for those of you who don't, this is how it is. So just having a little wriggle and a fidget if that's what you need to do here. Maybe having a little stretch overhead, because that was slightly longer than we're used to, but we're developing our mindfulness muscle, and eventually it's just being able to acknowledge that we're training our minds to not be still. Actually, what we're doing, we're training ourselves to draw our mind back to where we want it to be. So rather than having scattered thoughts, emotions, being tense, being affected, being reactive, if you like, we're harnessing the power that we have to actually, I want to just bring my awareness to this point rather than having all those scattered things. So that's what we're doing. We're strengthening the mindfulness muscle and just learning how to harness attention, if you like. So well done if you managed to sit with that. And well done even if you didn't manage to sit with that, because at some point you surely drew yourself back into it, which is the whole process of mindfulness. So wherever you were at with that, you were doing the right thing. You're still here, you're not asleep, you haven't wandered off. So let's look at the 10 fingers of gratitude, because I think it's always a lovely thing to start a day with, and especially to start a week with, and it helps just bring our mindset to where we want it to be, elevated, positive, and all the rest of it. So we're going to work through 10 points. It's easy because we have 10 fingers. You could just as easily make this 10 toes of gratitude, or even 20 digits of gratitude, however you want to do it. But we today are going to focus on 10 fingers of gratitude. So once again, just having your final fidget and bringing yourself to where you can sit in stillness and let your eyes softly close. And because I'm guiding you through this, we'll work with the ideas that I had, but I'm sure you would very easily be able to think of 10 things for which you are really grateful for today. So just coming back into the internal landscape of ourselves, noticing the calmness of the breath that we've started to cultivate. And starting whichever finger or thumb you want to. Lots of people count in different ways. They start with their thumbs, other people start with their little fingers. So starting wherever you want. Thinking about something that we're grateful for today. And as soon as I woke up to bright sunshine today. So I'm really grateful and have gratitude for the sun that warms our bodies, lifts our spirits, and gives life on earth, quite literally. So just thinking about how grateful you are for the sun and how you feel when the sun shines. And how even if it's a pretty rubbish day, the presence of bright sunshine just knocks the sharp edges off and makes things slightly more tolerable. And then moving to the next finger or toe, I'd like to bring gratitude today and be very grateful for the home that I live in. I'm so fortunate to have the safety and comfort that having a home brings. So thinking about the space that you call your home, the lovely place that you get to return to, where you feel calm and at ease, and you have that sense of belonging. So aren't we so lucky to have a place to call home? And then the third point of gratitude today, I'm going to think about how wonderful my bed is. I love my bed. It's really comfortable. It's warm. It offers me support. It allows me to have a good night's sleep. There's nothing better than starting a day after a good night's sleep. We all know what it's like not to have slept well. So to have had a good night's sleep in a comfy bed, and to be grateful when we can climb into bed of an evening and think, oh, how wonderful. So just bringing a bit of gratitude for our comfy beds. And now the fourth point of gratitude is for the warm clothes that we have, or the appropriate clothes that we have. They don't necessarily need to be warm. Sometimes they need to be cool clothes or protective clothes. So thinking about, I can't remember who coined the phrase, there's no such thing as bad weather, you just need the appropriate clothes. So it's about having the right clothes at the right time. So being grateful for probably having a good choice of things to wear to make you more comfortable. We have that choice. And then the fifth point of gratitude is for water. The comfort of hot water coming from the shower or providing a bath. The cool, clear clarity of water we can drink straight from our taps. How lucky are we that we have that available to us. Excuse me. And the fact that we have water in abundance in our homes, in our countries. So the comfort of having water in our lives. And then the sixth point of gratitude is a bit of a strange one, but I invite you to dwell on a negative experience that you've had, something that seemed absolutely awful at the time. I'm thinking about something that's happened a while ago that you've had time to reflect on. Perhaps a fallout with somebody you really care about. Perhaps you lost a job, perhaps you didn't win a job, perhaps you lost someone dear. But thinking about a really negative experience for which now, with the passage of time, you're really grateful. Now that you think about it, perhaps you needed to hear that thing that somebody said that might have been unkind or you felt was unjust. Perhaps you didn't need that job that you lost. perhaps you didn't need that job you didn't get. Just thinking about things that seemed really bad at the time, but actually it was part of the process that got you to here and now. So just taking a moment. You might dwell on this later in your day, and sometimes it's quite good to be able to do that, thinking about things that seemed insurmountable at the time, but actually they were part of you growing to where you are now. And now point 7, let's be grateful for the connection we have with ourselves and with others. So thinking about the fact that you're here and now, you're developing a connection with yourself, which is so important when we think about how it's so easy to blunder through lives without really thinking about what's going on within. Actually, to develop a sense of connection with ourselves helps us connect with other people. So being very grateful for a sense of connection. And then point number 8, thinking about the technology in our lives that allows even further connection. So thanks to technology today, we're able to maintain our friendships, see each other, we're able to enjoy sharing experiences. So being truly grateful for technology. And then point number 9, thinking about the choices we have in our day to day. All the choices we have to make. Doesn't mean they'll all necessarily be good ones, but the point is the possibilities are endless, the options that face us today. So it's about being open and receptive to things that might appear as opportunities and having the integrity of knowing how to approach them all. So let's be grateful for all the options and possibilities that face us today. And the final point of gratitude that I'd like to suggest today is directed towards a person or a pet today, someone you hold very dear, for whom you are so grateful that just thinking about that person or that connection with the person just makes you feel full and happy and really makes you full of gratitude. So just bringing that person or being to mind and sitting with that awareness of gratitude for a moment. And then finally, we've covered those 10 points, but just sitting for a moment in awareness of all these things that we've managed to conjure up. And surely there must be tenfold more things that we have that happen in our day. These little tiny blessings that help us get through. And when we're tuned in and mindful, we can be aware of their existence. So I invite you today to be aware and keep your minds and hearts open to those experiences and those things that just happen, for which you can have a tiny light bulb moment and think, oh, isn't that lovely? So slowly and mindfully now, just being aware of where you are, bringing your attention back to the external body and things that are going on outside of ourselves. And slowly just opening our eyes. Easy peasy, isn't it, when you start? Well, I hope you enjoyed that, ladies, and I hope that all of you who are joining us later on Catch Up enjoy that. And I hope that you're able to take positivity into your day and that you have a really lovely week. And hopefully I'll see some of you. It'd be lovely to see all of you later in the week for yoga. But if not, I'll see you next week for a little bit of mindfulness.
Thank you.